Hi, greetings to you today from Dali, China. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Shelly. My family and I live in China along with our 4 children. We love what we do. My husband's a teacher and I'm a stay-at-home mom with 4 kids and I homeschool. And so this is our journey here of what we're doing. Also, we'd like to say thanks to those of you that subscribed this week. We hit 1,000, which is super exciting. Thank you so much for that. This week we're going to hit on travel tips. So mostly international travel, but also if you're traveling within country, it's also helpful. But we wanted to go over it in 3 areas. We wanted to start with before travel, how to pack, a packing list, which I will link, I'll put below. I'll just go ahead and list it all out for you. We wanted to talk about in-flight tips and generalized helpful tips as you travel. So let's get started. Let's jump right into it. So for packing lists, go ahead and start off with your ID. Whatever ID it is for your country that you have to travel with, put that in. If you're traveling internationally, it has to be your passport. So go ahead and put your passport in the front of your suitcase or somewhere right there so that it is with you at all times. I check it 17 more times before we leave, and it's the last thing we ask each other as we walk out the door. Do you have the passports? Is the water off? Is the electricity off? All right, let's go. So another tip for getting ready for traveling to another country is for the in-flight, I make a bag for the back of the seat in front of me. This is super helpful as you're flying, and here's what's in the bag. Start off with tissues. It's always nice to have tissues. I always have gum or mint, my phone and charger. Most seat backs now have a way that you can charge your cell phone, so it's nice to land with 100% charge wherever you're going. And then also in there, I keep with me at all times chapstick. The flights are very, very dry. You need to be drinking water constantly, and the chapstick really helps to keep you feeling comfortable. I would also encourage basic snacks that you might want. Book, computer, headphones, whatever you need maybe for work. Go ahead and have that in your carry-on as well. Basic meds always need to be with you in your carry-ons if you can. So somewhere liquid and can't come with you, and that's what it is. That's part of the international travel guidelines and laws. But I would always have basic ibuprofen, basic Benadryl. If you have anything that you need to sustain life, heart meds, blood pressure meds, diabetes, asthma, whatever, keep those with you. And that way, if you do have a problem and your luggage goes somewhere without you or doesn't make it to where you are, at least you have those and you're not going to have a medical problem. Along these same lines, I would very much encourage anti-diarrhea medicine. Anytime you change over country lines, you're changing over foods, you're changing over cooking oils, you're changing over preservatives. It just kind of throws your system for a loop usually, and so that will save your life. And at Walmart, they sell a bottle for 88 cents, and there's 24 caplets in there, and it will literally make you comfortable on a trip that could be very uncomfortable. So I highly suggest that the time, the money, the weight, anything you need to give up to have those 24 anti-diarrhea medicine pills. We also encourage a little bit of cash, not much, because you don't want to get caught with, thousands of dollars in your pockets, which will never happen to me if you ever see me traveling. But to have just a little bit of the country we're leaving, so we always carry a little bit of Chinese yen, and then we get into America, we always have a few US dollars. So if there's any problems somewhere along the way and credit card machines aren't working, something's down, we have a little bit of cash to work with and have at least some sort of backup plan with money.
One of my favorite parts of being a mom. She's perfect.
I had a panel of 6 people that I was asking kind of what you would say to bring on trips. They travel internationally quite often. And I passed the first 2 and they said their basics, gum, headphones, whatever. And I got to the next 4. And almost at the same time, they all said underwear. Take a change of underwear in your carry-on. And I smiled and I said, tell me the story. And so they'd gone somewhere and their luggage was lost. And they had no way of changing or feeling more fresh after they'd gotten somewhere for a while. And so that's just really helpful to feel like you can be somewhat clean when you enter a new country after 24 to 30 hours of travel. If you hit the ground and at least you can get a night of sleep, maybe take a real quick shower and at least change that, you'll feel a lot better. Along with that, they also said to have deodorant and toothbrush, toothpaste, just the real basic, even if it's the stuff you throw away when you get there and you have your real stuff packed, just to have that kind of basic, make you feel better kind of feel. Let's talk about children. What would I take with children? If you are a screen person, if you allow screens are usually really helpful on long flights. They'll get restless after sitting for several hours. And so if you do iPhones, iPads, Kindles, go ahead and charge those the night before, have them on the flight, and then they can have those. It is what it is. You're sitting within like a 3 feet space, and that can really help. Most planes, international flights now come with seat back in-screen TVs, or in the seat TVs, and most of them have some sort of movie for children, and it's really helpful to have like a Disney Channel on there, and the kids really get into it. So that's nice. I would also suggest at least one change of clothes for kids and all of their basic medication. So Benadryl, ibuprofen, anti-nausea, anti-diarrhea, that kind of stuff, and that way you can keep your kids as comfortable as possible. Some people even go for Lego packs, but I would also say things that they can do with their hands. You know, maybe they want to read a book, maybe they want to do some math problems, maybe you do homeschool on the plane. If you can really be that awesome, that's incredible. But maybe you can do it on the plane. Any kind of logic books or crossword puzzle books, that kind of stuff, go ahead and pack those with you beforehand, and that way they'll have something to do on the flight. Okay, let's talk about in-flight, how you can be a good neighbor, how you can be a great passenger on your plane. So my first suggestion is when you're getting on the plane, when you're boarding the plane, go ahead and smile at your flight attendant, maybe even greet them as much as you can. They will remember that. They like to see that people actually see them and will smile at them too. They are there to help you, but that extra added niceties they go a long way. These are the people that are literally giving your food and water on the plane, so it's good to have them on your side. As you get to your seat, go ahead and stow your bag, but before you stow your bag, go ahead and get everything you're gonna need out for your flight, and that way you're not getting up just as soon as it takes off to unload everything. If you can comfortably sit with your blanket and your computer and your bag for the seat in front of you, go ahead and get that out. It's a safer bet that this will be easier for you. So in the middle of the flight, it's dark, and trying to get stuff down out of the stowing cabins is hard, and so the overhead compartments is hard. So go ahead and get that down on the way that you come in. That way you're not turning on lights and bumping people that are sleeping, and it's a good way to be a good neighbor to those around you in your seats. Another way to be a good neighbor is if you're planning on sleeping, there's a light button in front of you, or even reach up and turn it off. Often people will, I've seen it on flights several times, where people will put on their masks and leave their lights on. That's very unhelpful for people around you. You just turn your light off if you're gonna be sleeping. It's just kind of one of those good neighbor things. Also, another good idea as a good neighbor is make sure that you're keeping your mouth fresh with mints. If you did have something with lots of garlic or onion for lunch, that's just kind of one of those like helpful neighbor hints. And keep that gum a-coming. Another helpful hint as a passenger, as a good neighbor passenger, is if you're not sitting on the aisle, when the person on the aisle gets up to go to the restroom or get water or walk around, you do the same. So if you're not asleep yet and you don't even feel like you might need to go to the bathroom or whatever, go ahead and get up, do that, take a walk, get your water. That way you're not 30 minutes later waking that person up. And then they have to uncover, get the headphones off, repack their computer, stow everything, or let you crawl over them, which is super awkward and weird. So yeah, just jump up and go to the bathroom while they're up too. Let's move to generalized helpful hints while you're traveling. My first idea here is to always be kind to your gate agent and your ticketing agent. These people are there to help you, and they want to help you, but it is hard sometimes when you're dealing with so many people and people come up to you and they're snarky or they're rude. There are things that these agents can't control. They are representatives of their company, but often they can't control what's happening. So the nicer you are to them, probably the more likely they'll be to really help you out. Of course, they're going to help you no matter what. But my guess is that they're going to really try to lend themselves to helping you out if you're kinder to them. Everybody wants a smiling face looking at them. If you're going across country borders, allow 2 hours at minimum for a layover the first time you enter a country. For example, if you're flying from the US, anywhere in the US to anywhere in China, but you're stopping in Shanghai first, you have a layover in Shanghai, that Shanghai layover needs to be at minimum 2 hours. Anywhere in the world you go, the first time you're in country, it has to be a minimum 2 hours. Other than that, you're really pushing it, because every time you first enter a country, you have to go through customs, which means you have to take your luggage, go through the luggage security, so you'll give the luggage back, and then you'll have to go through security again. You have to wait through the line, do the whole computer out of the bag, belts off, jackets off, feet, shoes off, the whole deal. And for you to do that solo, if you're doing 2 hours, you'll probably make it no problem. With a family, I would say minimum 3 hours. Other than that, you're really pushing it, and it's not worth the stress. So as you're booking your tickets, if you can, leave a 2 hour layover at minimum. And that also would go back into the US. If we're going from Shanghai to Nashville, we're laying over in LA, Detroit, Denver, wherever, we would want to allow 2 hours in those cities to get our luggage to go through customs and to go back through security. Just kind of a standard rule anytime you go into a new country. Also watch for airport scammers. This is kind of the downside to travel. Sometimes people will be kind of waiting for you to play off your money if they think you're a wealthy tourist. So they'll be waiting there to say, oh, you need help carrying your bags. And sometimes people in airports are there, they're Skype gaps or whatever to help you move your luggage from one place to another, and they do get tips. But there are people that will say, oh, you're gonna have a hard time getting through customs. It's very difficult here, but I know them. I'll tell them and get them through and give them a little bit of a tip if you give me so much money. The airports are there, they know you're coming, they know you're gonna go through, and there may be extra things you have to fill out that you didn't know you were going to, but airports are there to welcome tourists. So these people are generally there to scam you. It's a downside to life, it's a downside to travel. But just be careful and be aware. Always keep your passports. Never give your passport to someone else. And generally speaking, you can make it through an airport by yourself without having to tip people if there's nothing special about your travel situation. Okay, I think that's all we have for today. I really appreciate you guys coming and watching, and if you've stayed this long, thank you. Go ahead and comment below if you have any other travel tips. I'd love to hear them. I might learn something from you which might change my life, and I would love that. Thanks for sticking with us. If you haven't, subscribe. We would love to have you on board with us here, and we really love you guys, appreciate you, and come see us in China, or maybe I'll see you somewhere as I'm traveling as well.